all right, we do a lot of motorcycle cases. We have the
Right.
Myrtle Beach BikerLawyer.com brand. We're very active in the biker community here in Myrtle Beach. Something that people get confused and they'll give up on their case is if they think they're at fault or they are found at fault.
Right.
They should not give up, and tell us why.
Because, I mean, in my experience, right, it's very rare that the motorcyclist, although there's motorcycle bias and people think motorcycles sometimes, especially during bike week, are driving recklessly, it's normally the car that pulls out in front of the motorcycle, and people don't understand, sometimes even police officers don't understand that when you pull out in front of a motorcycle, it's not like pulling out in front of a car that can stop. That biker can't stop. And so just because there was maybe have been a lot of space or more than there would have been for a car, that doesn't mean the biker's at fault. And so a lot more goes into the investigation than the police officer who shows up after the scene, didn't witness it. And of course, a lot of times the motorcyclist is too injured to even give a statement.
Yeah,
right.
He's gone. They drove him off to the ER.
They're in the ER, and this happens all the time where the cop will interview everybody who was in the vehicle will get to give a statement, and the motorcyclist is having surgery somewhere and doesn't even get to say their part. And so don't give up just because you're marked at fault, or, you know, the motorcyclist doesn't remember what happened, because you're going to get a lot more hurt when you're on a motorcycle. So there's more to the investigation, and so don't just accept that contributing factor is you.
Yeah,
as
you wake up and a trooper gives you your FR10, it says you're at fault, and you just give up and never file a claim. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Always let us look at it. And maybe you were at fault, but here's the deal: we might still be able to claim for the client as long as you're not more than 50% at fault.
Right.
So that's what people don't understand in South Carolina. We have a modified comparative statute, and it allows us to still potentially recover, even if you do have some kind of culpability in it.
Right.
And we see that, unfortunately, but we also have, we go and teach these ASM classes, and every time we're talking about insurance and we're talking about, past accidents that these clients, these trainees have been in, they all tell us, well, I was in a wreck and I was at fault, or nobody would take my case. Well, that's ridiculous. They call us, we're going to intake that case, and we're going to look at it, and we're going to look you in the eye and tell you if you have a case, one way or the other.
Yeah, we're going to find out what happened and if you were at fault, or if you were the most at fault, if you can still recover. And it's hard. It's hard to sit in those classes and hear about past accidents that are long gone. And then you're like, well, what happened? And I'm just thinking, you were not at fault,
Single bike accidents. Also, we get a lot of calls on that. And sometimes there's nothing we can do for you. But also, don't give up. If you think, well, nobody hit me, I ran off the road, or something popped up in the road and caused me to fall, or you don't remember, and you can't identify another party, still need to reach out to us, because we might be able to investigate, pull video from the crash scene, pull neighboring businesses. Maybe somebody did clip you and you just don't remember. Maybe there was a roadway design defect in the road. Never give up on these motorcycle cases.
No, never give up. And if you're a passenger in a single motorcycle accident, you can always recover. Well, I wouldn't say always, but 99% of the time you can recover if there's insurance as a passenger. So passenger on a motorcycle in any situation, don't give up.
That's a good point too, because you'll get thrown from the bike and you think, well, nobody hit us, you won't file a claim. Yeah, passenger will always have a claim. In fact, you also could pull back to your own UIM policy.
Right.
Even if you don't have a motorcycle, if you own a car at home and you're a passenger on a bike, that's another source of coverage that we'll be able to pursue for you.
Exactly.
And you're probably hurt very, very badly when you're on these motorcycles. When you fall, we're not talking about minor soft tissue, although sometimes we see those, but most of the time these are catastrophic injuries. So don't give up and think, what am I going to do with all these medical bills? I mean, it'll throw your life in disaster. We'll investigate it for you. We work these cases on a contingency, and if we don't find anything, no sorts of recovery, we don't charge a fee, and we eat off the cost. So there's no loss, to you as the.
When life gets ugly, justice is love.